What's up? It's me, lo-fi musician and producer, Blue Sirens. Today, I want to talk to you about a couple of things you should know about before you collaborate with someone on a track, or even if you're just a featured artist or a guest artist. So, let's dive in. The first thing is, you gotta find somebody. And if you're looking for somebody, great place to look is going to be actually Instagram, YouTube, and honestly, Discord. I've had a lot of people reach out to me on Discord through different servers I'm a part of because they know if I'm a part of that server, I'm already part of the community. And I've posted or shared my music there in the past, they've checked it out, and they thought we were a great match, and they reached out to me. So, if you're looking for someone to collaborate, those are the first 3 places I would check to find someone that you might want to do a track with. Now, what do you do when you're looking to collaborate with someone? Well, you should just reach out to them and say who you are, what kind of music you make, and I would highly recommend you send 2 tracks that you like of theirs and 2 tracks that you think represents your music. I don't like it when artists just reach out to me and say, hey, let's do a collab, because 9 times out of 10, I don't even know their own music. I may have seen the name, or sometimes I just don't even know who they are in general, but I need something to know who am I going to be making this track with. What's their style? What do they really think a successful song of theirs looks like? So if you're reaching out to someone, send 2 tracks that are yours that represent who you are, and send 2 tracks of their songs that you really like. And the songs of the person you're trying to reach out to collaborate, maybe highlight some elements in those songs that you like that you want them to bring to your collaboration. This is a really good way to get that collaboration started because they already know what you like of their style and what they might need to put into for the upcoming tracks. And that could mean something as easy as I like the strings, I like the melody, I like the drums, or just the overall vibe. But the more descriptive you can be, the better. Now, if you've already got someone you want to collab with and you've got all that taken care of, the pics of the tracks and those things, the next thing I would recommend is figuring out how your distributor and their distributor handles collaborations. Some distributors only allow collaborations if you're also using that service. So I tend to steer clear of that and just tell people, why don't you use my distributor? And the distributor I've used a lot in the past has been Amuse, because you can create a free account, and then if someone has a pro plan or a higher plan like myself, you can set everything up for the collaboration and you're good to go. The person that's collaborating with you doesn't need to pay anything to have that song distributed. But check out, see what your distributor allows, see what the distributor allows, and go from there, because sometimes that's a make or break issue. The next thing is going to be more around the responsibilities of the track. Now, earlier I mentioned highlighting things that you like from the other collaborator, and that's good to get started, but once you know that you're going to be making the track together, try and divvy up what each person's going to be responsible for. Is someone going to be making the melody? Is it going to be mixing? Is it going to be the drums? Who's going to be owning what, so you know what to focus on going forward? Now, there's nothing wrong with saying, I wrote a melody and then someone else coming up with another idea for that and seeing how that works, but be careful of your communication, because someone could think of that as stepping over or out of bounds into someone else's field when they already said, I want to do this part of it and I'll carry that part of the task. So just be careful how you phrase that and how you approach that. As long as you're open about your communication in this process, no one's feelings or egos should get hurt, but always fair to tread lightly in these situations. And then another thing that I think not a lot of people think about, but if you're trying to make sure you're collecting as much money as you can from your music, take a look and see what their PRO is. And this is going to be ASCAP, BMI, or if they're in another country, they could have one that I probably even heard of before. I've collaborated with an artist from Germany, and their PRO was not something I've ever heard of before. So make sure you have that information if you're going to register your song with your PRO, and you line it up properly to where everyone's going to get paid the correct amount. And with that, you also need to take a look and see what are the splits going to be, because if the labor of the song isn't really divided up 50-50, then maybe the splits won't be either. So is it going to be 60-40, 70-30? Who's going to be doing the most of the work, and are they going to be compensated with the splits when it comes to streaming for that? Really just depends on the collab. I try to make all my collabs 50-50, depending on how the collaborator likes to see it, but I tend to think we're going to be doing it 50-50 because at the end of the day, if the other person is presenting some sort of musical material to me, they're also reliant on my input. And if I like that, or if I don't like that, and if we like everything on the first take, even if they put a little bit more in, I'm being able to provide that feedback and reassurance for it. But if it is honestly like I'm checked out and haven't done as much, or I'm only providing a very small portion of it, like a melody or something that doesn't make a ton of doesn't fill out the song as much, then I would probably offer to do maybe 40% or so, depending on the song. It's all situational, but like I said, I tend to try to make all my collabs 50-50 so that we each feel like we're putting in as much work as the other person is. And then the last thing, apart from like music and the splits and payments, is make sure you're relying on album artwork. You can do this at the very beginning or wherever you feel it's appropriate in the song writing process, depending on if you have like that vision from the beginning or if it happens in the middle or the end, but make sure you're aligned on it. Some people are totally fine with using AI for art, and some people, don't. And if you're not aligned on what that looks like or what that could be, that could cause some conflict between you as collaborators. So make sure you have that set up, you're on the same page as that, and then you're pretty much good to send it off to your distributor if you've done everything I've already mentioned before. So those are some tips for when you're doing your first collab, or if you're doing a collab and you've done one or two, but you're thinking of doing it with someone you don't know before. Try and do some of these things, and it will probably make your process be a lot smoother. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.